There are moments in life when the air seems unusually still, when the silence stretches longer than usual, and when prayers appear to go unanswered. We are tempted to believe that heaven has shut its doors, that our cries echo into a void. But it is often in such quiet, in that sacred stillness, that something far more profound is being prepared. The caterpillar, pressed into the darkness of the cocoon, does not know that wings are coming. The soil broken by the buried seed does not foresee the bloom, and the heart, weary from waiting, does not yet imagine the joy that is about to flood it. You are not forgotten, you are being prepared. You see, we tend to imagine blessings in the language of what we already know: health, provision, restoration, favor. But God does not operate merely within the confines of human vocabulary. His blessings are not small coins tossed into a beggar's cup. They are tidal waves capable of sweeping away despair. They are morning sunrises after centuries of night. They are not always swift, but they are always sovereign. There are blessings that come quietly, wrapped in disguise, wearing the garments of challenge or delay. Some of God's greatest gifts arrive through what we call disappointment, for He is not interested in merely pacifying us with trinkets of comfort. He is interested in forming souls that can bear eternity. So the blessing He is preparing for you may feel like breaking, but it is, in truth, birthing. Do not think He has been idle while you've waited. The one who hung stars in the night sky has not forgotten your name. The hands that shaped the galaxies have not fumbled your destiny. When He blesses, He does not give from scarcity, but from abundance, not just enough to soothe you, but enough to transform you, beyond your imagination. That is how He blesses. Because imagination, as holy a gift as it is still framed by what we have seen, what we have touched, what we have heard whispered in sermons or written in songs. But God is not bound by our imagination. He is not a poet merely echoing our desires. He is an architect of the soul, designing futures that would terrify us if we saw them too soon. Perhaps you thought your blessing would be a door opened, a promotion granted, a relationship restored. Perhaps it will be, but perhaps it will be more. Perhaps it will be strength you never asked for. Perhaps it will be a peace that does not make sense. Perhaps it will be joy that sings even in sorrow's valley. These are the blessings that do not fade when circumstances change. These are the riches thieves cannot steal and moths cannot consume. You are being positioned for something that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, and no mind has conceived. Not because you have earned it, but because He delights in giving good gifts. Not because you are perfect, but because grace is not earned, it is lavished. So lift up your eyes, the horizon is not as far as you think. The clouds may still cover the sky, but the sun has not vanished. The delay is not denial, it is divine timing. The silence is not absence, it is preparation. A blessing is coming, a great, unimaginable blessing. Not simply to make your life easier, but to make your soul richer. Not to impress others, but to deepen your awe. And when it comes, you will know it was never random. It was always being written in heaven's ink, etched into eternity, waiting for the appointed hour to be unveiled. And that hour may be now, or it may be very soon, but make no mistake, it is coming. God is about to bless you beyond your imagination. We often interpret delay as denial, and silence as absence. It is natural in our finite understanding to assume that if we do not see movement, then nothing is happening. But the divine reality is far more intricate. God, in His infinite wisdom, often orchestrates blessings behind the veil of time, wrapping them in silence and stretching them through seasons of difficulty. These are not signs of abandonment, but signs of preparation. What feels like a pause in your life may actually be a sacred interlude in which God is arranging the pieces you cannot yet see. Just as the roots of a tree grow deepest in winter, so too do the foundations of your future blessings often form in hiddenness. God is not careless with time. He does not rush greatness, nor does He waste pain. Every challenge, every closed door, every moment that appears to stall your progress may in fact be carrying the fingerprints of divine design. There is a holy slowness to God's process that offends our desire for immediate results. But when God delays, it is never because He is undecided. It is because He is doing something eternal. In those moments when it feels like nothing is happening, Something far greater than you can imagine is being shaped with precise intention. Challenges themselves are often the soil in which blessings grow. The struggle cultivates strength, the loss creates room for gain, the breaking opens space for filling. God does not always shield us from pain, because sometimes pain is the very tool He uses to bring forth the blessing that could not otherwise come. We are not being punished, we are being pruned. We are not being rejected, we are being refined. The discomfort you feel today may be the very evidence that God is near, reshaping your story with a blessing in mind that you are not yet ready to carry. And what of the silence? Silence is not the absence of God's voice, but the deep work of His Spirit. God often speaks loudest in silence because it forces us to lean in, to listen with our hearts rather than our ears. In the quiet, our dependence grows, our sight becomes sharper, we are emptied of our pride and filled with expectation. It is there, in the long waiting and the unanswered questions, that faith becomes more than a word, it becomes a way of life. Silence is not God turning His face away. It is God turning the soil of our soul so that what He plants next will take root deeply and endure. The greatest blessings are rarely loud in their arrival. They do not burst in uninvited, nor do they come according to our timelines. They emerge softly, steadily, after seasons of waiting, growing quietly in the dark like seeds that bloom only when the time is right. What God is preparing for you is not something small, temporary, or easily defined by earthly standards. It is not merely a change in circumstance or a single answered prayer. It is something far deeper, something that touches the essence of who you are. When God sets His hand to bless, He does not aim only to decorate your life with convenience or ease. He aims to develop your soul, to shape your character into something eternal. The blessings He prepares are not always wrapped in comfort, but are always wrapped in purpose. He sees not just the desires of your heart, but the destiny of your spirit. And so He blesses in a way that transforms, not just soothes. There are blessings that change your situation, and there are blessings that change your identity. God is more interested in the latter. He is not a mere giver of gifts. He is a craftsman of souls. What He gives to draw you deeper into your calling, your obedience, your holiness, your trust. The transformation is not surface level. It is not about simply becoming more successful or more admired. It is about becoming more aligned with His image, more surrendered, more purified. The process of receiving what He has for you often reshapes your values, challenges your pride, and realigns your hopes with heaven. When God prepares a blessing, He also prepares the vessel. You are not being made to receive something shallow. You are being made to hold something sacred. The kind of blessing He is preparing requires growth on your part, a stretching of faith, a deepening of understanding, a breaking of the old so that something new can take form. The waiting is not wasted because during that time He is molding you. He is removing what cannot go with you into the next season. He is refining your intentions, softening your heart, sharpening your discernment. The blessing is not simply about what you will gain. It is about who you will become through the gaining. The blessings of God are too weighty to be carried by someone who remains unchanged. If He is about to give you peace, He will first teach you to let go. If He is about to give you influence, He will first teach you humility. If He is about to give you favor, He will first test your integrity. Every gift He gives is matched with the grace to steward it, but that grace is formed in the refining fire. You are not just being prepared for a moment, you are being shaped for a calling. What He gives will not just impact you, it will flow through you to others. The blessing is more than a reward, it is a revelation. It reveals the nature of God and the new nature He is forming in you. He is making you strong enough to carry something holy and pure enough to reflect His goodness in the midst of a dark world. The transformation He is bringing is not for appearance but for anointing, not for applause but for eternal purpose. The blessing that is coming is not limited by your imagination, because imagination itself is a beautiful but bounded faculty. It draws from what we have seen, heard, experienced, or hoped for, but it cannot reach the heights of the divine mind. God's thoughts are not our thoughts, and his ways stretch far beyond the lines we have drawn in the sand. While we imagine what seems best, he prepares what is perfect. Our prayers may rise from a place of need, but his answers come from a place of eternal wisdom. What he plans to give you is not confined by what you think is possible, because possibility is merely the floor of what he is capable of doing. When you imagine a blessing, it often reflects the scale of your environment. Something better than your current condition, something slightly elevated from your current place. But God's blessings are not incremental, they are transformational. He does not just upgrade your life, he overhauls it. He does not come to patch holes, but to pour new wine. He does not come to give you what you ask for in fear, he gives what you never dared to ask for in faith. There is no ceiling to the storehouse of heaven. There is no shortage in the realm of grace. What God has for you is not a leftover. It is something uniquely designed, impossibly tailored, miraculously timed. The blessing ahead may come in a form you never anticipated. You might have envisioned financial provision, but he may send purpose. You may have asked for companionship, but he may give you calling. You may have wanted healing in one area, only to find he restores your whole life in ways you never imagined. His abundance does not mirror human extravagance, it redefines it. He gives in ways that overflow, not only into your hands but through your life into others. The magnitude of the blessing is not only in what it does for you, but in what it does through you. Your imagination might frame a future built on comfort, stability, and a few realized dreams. God's blessing goes further. It awakens destiny, unlocks buried gifts, ignites faith, and disrupts the ordinary with divine interruption. You may be picturing a better version of the life you know, but he is preparing a life that you have never known. A life where peace is not dependent on the absence of storms, where joy is not borrowed from circumstances, and where strength rises not from striving but from surrender. God's abundance has never been defined by earthly standards. The cattle on 1,000 hills are his, and yet he chooses to give us not just possessions, but promises fulfilled, hearts transformed, and purposes realized. He is not bound by the systems of the world nor the limitations of your past. What he has in store defies logic, exceeds expectations, and humbles even the most vivid dreamer. You are standing on the edge of something not built by your planning, but by his providence. He blesses in such a way that when it happens, you will know without doubt that it was not born of your imagination, but from his immeasurable grace.